What's happening, TikTok? Good morning, good morning. We're at my house. Gotta go into work today, but I got tomorrow off, so just gotta get through it, make that money, make that money. My dog's life a little bit easier, my wife's life a little bit easier, mine a little more stressful. But again, it can't be much stressful when you got your wonderful cup of coffee and your dogs and your sexy wife. So, and my wonderful TikTok viewers, can't forget you guys, you know. So, as I said, we're going to do a week review of Big Daddy's WCW Universe from a couple years ago. And we're only going a week this time because when I was trying to do 2 weeks, I was running right up to the 10-minute mark and wasn't able to post it on all my platforms. So we'll just go a week at a time now. But, before we start that, we got to see the stars of the TikTok. And I'm not going to try to wake them up, because they're snoozing right now. But I'm going to show you guys what they're doing. And we got our pretty gravy girl right there, just chillaxed, all laid out, being pretty like she always is. And under his blanket, you got Nugget, and he's just chilling, chillaxing too. He's all curled up in his ball, it looks like. He's like, I'm staying warm, Dad, I'm staying warm, that's what matters. And Gravy's like, yep, and I'm snoozing too. The stars of the TikTok guys, there's Gravy and Nugget. They're chillaxing. But anyway, TikTok, as I said, we're here to start our day the perfect way with a good old cup of coffee. So let's start it. TikTok, that is. So good, so good. Let me take another swig. Hold on. So good, so good. But as I said, TikTok, we gotta get this week review of WCW, Big Daddy's WCW Universe from a couple years ago. And it looks like in April we're at Worldwide in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. As I said, he started doing cities a couple months ago, but and he started doing promos too. So in this first promo, he had Big Daddy come out. So he came out, and he's thanking everyone for the pay-per-view, saying it was a great one, and he said he's here to make things right in this WCW universe. So he's gonna be making appearances now. So Big Daddy's gonna be a character. He's gonna make these champions defend their titles, making sure the right people challenge for the titles, and he announces that at the main event of the next month's at April's Spring Stampede, he'll be having an elimination chamber, and all the weeks leading up to the elimination chamber, he's gonna be having qualifying matches to get into the elimination chamber, and the first match for the first challengers will be either Big Van Vader or Diamond Dallas Page in that night in this episode's main event. Okay, and then in the first match, you had the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner versus the Outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, obviously, and the winners of that was the Outsiders in a 4.5-star match. So, pretty cool right there. Pretty cool. Opening up with the tag match. Not the cruiserweights, but a tag match that was a 4.5-star match. So cool. Then you had a promo backstage from Jeff Jarrett. He's telling Goldberg that you were no match for me. And he wants to start collecting gold, so he wants to start becoming a champion, and he wants to be in that elimination chamber match at Spring Stampede. And he's basically telling Big Daddy that put me in a qualification match because I want to be in it. And then in match 2, you had Billy Kidman versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, and the winner of that, new Cruiserweight Champion Billy Kidman, in a 2.5-star match. Pretty cool right there, pretty cool. So right there we had the Cruiserweights starting out. Well, then the second match, so they're in the first or second match, obviously. Then you had a backstage promo with Sting, who was the United States champion, retaining at Uncensored. And he's just basically saying he still hasn't made up his mind of whether he's going to join the NWO or not. And he says, so Kevin, next week he'll have his decision. So he's basically going to make it in the second week of April. So we'll decide next week. We're going to find out if he's part of the NWO or not. Then in match 3, you had Steve McMichael versus Curt Hennig, with Curt Hennig winning in a 2.5 star match. Kind of a classic rival right there. In real life, Curt Hennig did turn on the Four Horsemen and join the NWO. So right there was a rematch, and but Curt Hennig still won the match. So all right, and then you had a backstage promo with DDP, and he's saying that it's an honor and a privilege that he's going to get a chance to be in a main event, not just on worldwide, but maybe at the pay-per-view. So he's telling Big Van Vader, size won't be the advantage in this match because you can't measure a man's heart. So he's pumped up, and he's a good guy, it sounds like, with that promo. And then in match 4, you had the WCW Television Championship match between stunning Steve Austin versus the Ultimo Dragon, which the Ultimo Dragon was the winner of that match by a countout. So a 1.5 star match, kind of a dud, but Ultimo Dragon winner by countout. So kind of a bummer there. Then you had Big Daddy doing a promo on the stage, and he's basically Big Daddy's responding to Jeff Jarrett's promo earlier, saying that he wanted a shot at being in the main event at Spring Stampede. So he's basically saying since he won his rivalry from Goldberg, he'll get a chance to be in an Elimination Chamber match at Spring Stampede, but his opponent will be a mystery till match time. So nobody knows who Jeff Jarrett's challenger is going to be. So kind of exciting there. Big Day's kind of like tensing it up. Who is Jeff Jarrett's opponent going to be at in his qualification match? And then in the main event, you had Big Van Vader versus Diamond Dallas Page in that Elimination Chamber qualifying entrant match. And the winner of that was Diamond Dallas Page in a 3-star match. And then Vader cuts a promo at the end of the match. The loser of the match cuts a promo, and he's like, just saying that he can't believe he fell short. That both times he's tried to qualify for a championship match, he's fell short. So he basically and says he's quitting, because the last thing he says is he says goodbye WCW. So Big Van Vader quits after losing that qualifying match to Diamond Dallas Page. It's kind of a bummer right there. But yeah, as I said, we're only gonna go a week at a time, because right now we're rolling in at 8 minutes and 8 minutes, over 8 minutes of this TikTok. If you stuck around this long, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Check out the matches, that are there. So check it out, guys, because as I said, Big Daddy and I, we're getting back at it June 7th. So, as I said at the beginning of June, though, we will have a preview of the matches that coming up on the I don't know, it's re-debuting WCW Universe Mode. But you guys all take it easy, stay safe, stay cool out there, because I think there's going to be another nice one out there today. Later. Bye. TikTok, that is so good, so good. Later. Bye.